In the interest of time, I would like to get started. I have some announcements, and so hopefully as we go through those that haven't yet joined us will be able to get in to this call. So anyway, good morning and welcome to our celebration of community. With just 2 weeks left, what has been an incredibly difficult year, I'm hoping we can take the next hour to reflect and celebrate all that is great in our community. Despite all the hardships and challenges, our member businesses and nonprofits have worked extremely hard to meet the needs of their customers and their clients. Today, we will recognize 2 organizations for all that they do. In addition, we will host a discussion on how we can continue to work together to serve the needs of our community. Before we begin, I would like to give thanks and recognition to our sponsors, our board members, and visionary members. This year, the sponsors for our celebration of community is Doylestown Health, My Benefit Advisor, Harleysville Bank, Kreischer Miller, QNB, TD Bank, and Univest. We really greatly appreciate your support of this event. Your financial contributions allowed us to put this program together, and we're grateful for your support. I'd also like to recognize our board members that are with us today. Duncan Reed, our board chair from Edward Jones Investments, our treasurer, Nanette Carney from the Carney Group, Mary Griffith Alfarano from Fulton Bank, our secretary, Mike Coakley from Kreischer Miller, our immediate past chair, Allison Gilmore from Doylestown Health, our executive committee member at large, and Dan Reevy, McMahon Associates, executive committee member at large. Our director, Stan Braverman from Braverman Associates, Dave Freeman from QNB Bank, Ray Keogh from My Benefit Advisor, Chris Shalor from Christo IT Services, and Sherry Strauss from Harleysville Bank. Again, we thank you for joining us this morning. The visionary membership that we offer for members was redesigned in 2020 to provide greater value to its participants, but one that continued was the recognition at our events. And I'm thrilled that we have so many visionary members with us today and would like to give a shout out to each of them by name. Stan Braverman from Braverman Associates, Chris Shalor from Christo IT Services, Lisa Martin from Costco Wholesale, Allison Gilmore from Doylestown Health, Tom McKee from Edward Jones Investments, Duncan Reed from Edward Jones Investments, Mary Griffith Alfarano from Fulton Bank, Dan Brosh and Sherry Strauss from Harleysville Bank, Mike Coakley from Kreischer Miller, Paul Delp from Lansdale Warehouse, Dan Reevy, McMahon Associates, Ray Keogh, My Benefit Advisor, Dave Freeman, April Donahue and Jackie Thomas from QNB Bank, Lee Barry from the Lee Barry team at Keller Williams Real Estate. And again, thank you all for your support as visionary members and for joining us today. As I mentioned, we are celebrating 2 of our members today, Garden of Health and Costco Wholesale. Before we view the pre-recorded award presentation, I am excited to share that with the generosity of so many of our attendees today, we will be presenting Garden of Health with a check for $350 to help continue your mission. Again, thank you to each of you that gave a donation to help support this cause. So now, if I can pull this off, I'd like you to join me in watching the presentation of the awards.
For almost 20 years, the Chamber has presented a Community Organization Award as part of the annual award celebration. The criteria for selection includes a significant contribution of time, skills, and resources towards the improvement of the community. This year, the focus was on a nonprofit organization that specifically addressed their clients' needs as a result of the pandemic. With the assistance of our sponsors of the Community Celebration event, I am excited to share that Garden of Health has been selected to receive the 2020 Community Organization Award. Garden of Health, which was founded 5 years ago, has demonstrated significant growth in the past year. They doubled the production and distribution of produce to 206,000 pounds. They service 30 to 35 pantries and organizations and have received $170,000 in donated product. The amazing thing is they have also increased the number of clients they serve from 300 to 600 each month. This is truly a remarkable organization and one for which we are delighted is available to help those in need within our service area. It is my pleasure to present this year's award to Carol Bauer, Founder and Executive Director of Garden of Health.
We are honored to accept this award this year. As Pam mentioned, we have grown tremendously through COVID. Prior to COVID, we were running the organization completely out of my house. We are currently in a 1,700 square foot warehouse in Lansdale, where we see individual clients and we distribute out to our partners. We've added a second distribution van during COVID. We currently serve over 600 families a month, along with 30 or 35 organizations. The way we're different than other food pantries is one, we're really a food bank serving those other organizations, but two, we service healthy food to all, including those with dietary restrictions. So if you are gluten-free or need to be sugar-free because you're diabetic or you have food allergies, we can accommodate those special dietary needs, which a lot of the pantries right now can't do because of COVID. And we also provide healthy alternatives. So we're providing Amy's Organic Soups, we're providing quinoa and brown rice. We provide fresh produce to all of our clients, along with our pantry partners that we provide produce to. We do still provide the special dietary foods to our partners. They just have a limited ability to deal with those special dietary needs right now. Our goal, our long-term goal, is to become the Healthy Food Bank of Bucks and Montgomery County. We are looking to provide healthy foods, brown rice, quinoa, and Amy Soups, organic products to everybody who needs food in Bucks and Montgomery County. We currently service individuals from Pennsburg to Bensalem to Langhorne to Norristown, Penridge, everywhere kind of in between. We want to continue to grow and continue to support all the organizations such as Meals on Wheels, community meals, and delivering directly to low-income seniors right at their housing. So if you are interested in helping Garden of Health, you can learn more about us at our website at gardenofhealthinc.org. You can reach out to us at info@gardenofhealthinc.org or at 267-664-4397. We are in need of donations and volunteers.
Connecting community and commerce has been more than a tagline for the Chamber. When businesses and nonprofit organizations support each other, it ensures that our region remains the best place to live, work, and raise a family. The Corporate Citizenship Award was created to recognize a member business that has demonstrated significant positive impacts on the community through volunteer work, in-kind donations, cash contributions, and have embraced corporate philanthropy as a part of the company culture. Costco Wholesale has been an example of all that this award exemplifies, from their corporate commitment to the Children's Miracle Network to getting backpacks in the hands of local children. They are active on nonprofit boards and committees, and as an organization gives special focus to children, education, and health and human services. We are so fortunate to have Costco in our community. It is my pleasure to present the 2020 Corporate Citizenship Award to Lisa Martin on behalf of Costco Wholesale.
Pam, thank you so much. So it's really an honor to get this for this warehouse. We've worked really hard. I'll be here 3 years in April. As you all know, a lot of you know, Jim Zambrata, the manager of this warehouse, a lot of this would not be possible without him. He is a strong supporter of giving back to the community, for letting me sit on boards of nonprofits. We also do, due to corporate and himself, we do $300 a month of donations. All that goes to nonprofits. The fact that I'm not out on the road marketing, we have an extra $500 a month that we've been also giving to all nonprofits. One of our main goals in this community is to be out there to help and serve. So we give over $100,000 a year to Manna on Main Street with food items. They come here and fill Abundance every day to pick that up. The girls that work in RTV make that possible. My guys in the food department, my guys in the receiving. Now, I know that I'm supposedly the face of Costco because I'm the person you see all the time and out there. But understand what this award means to this whole building and every employee in here that helps make this happen. From my AGM Jim, from my GM Jim, my AGM Joyce, Randy, and Brian that are all supportive in what I do. My membership manager, Christine Bowen, who allows me to do all these things also, and my membership department that supports me and goes and helps me with these things, and when I'm not available, they take care of it. So again, thank you so much for a beautiful award.
Again, congratulations to Garden of Health and Costco, well-deserved awards. And the only disappointing thing is that we couldn't all be together in person to celebrate with you, but hopefully the video could at least compensate given where we are this year. So again, congratulations. I'd also just like to give a shout out to Joel Lindbaum from On a Limb Productions. He put the presentation together for us, and he is incredibly patient and talented, and did a great job on our behalf. So thank you to Joel. So at this time, it is my pleasure to present our panel discussion led by Diana Doherty, Executive Director of the VNA Foundation of North Penn, with panelists April Donahue from QNB Bank, Jack Hoy from Pritchard Beeler Gruber and Willison, and Lisa Martin with Costco Wholesale. So with that, I would like to step aside and turn the program over to Diana.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me? Okay, great. Hi, everybody. I'm Diana Doherty. Thanks, Pam. Thanks for the invitation to moderate this panel discussion. It highlights the importance of partnerships between community organizations and businesses in our region. I'm Diana Doherty. I'm Executive Director of the VNA Foundation of Greater North Penn. We are a proud member of the Chamber. We're a private grant-making foundation that's based in Lansdale, and we support nonprofit organizations that provide health and human services to under-resourced people in the Greater North Penn region. And this year we've devoted more than $1 million in grants to the region's nonprofits. I am thrilled to see the development of the Chamber's Nonprofit Council, and I'm really excited to see that grow and thrive over the years to come. So thank you to Pam for her leadership on that. And I'm excited to get to know many of you and partner with you for the good of our community here in Montgomery County. So I am really happy to welcome our panelists, April, Jack, and Lisa. Congratulations, Lisa, to you and Costco for your award this year, and to Garden of Health as well. I'm going to start by posing a few questions to our panel to get us started. And if any of you in the audience have questions for our panelists, please do post them in the chat. And I will be periodically monitoring that to make sure that we have we can incorporate your questions into our discussion as we go forward and allow for our panelists' response. So just getting to know our panelists a bit, let's get started. April, I'd love to know a little bit about your role at QNB and the ways in which QNB works with community organizations.
Good morning. Thanks, Diana. It's our pleasure to be here. That's really our philosophy, is to be a community bank, and by giving back. There's many different things that we do in the community, such as serving on local nonprofit boards, volunteering at local events, and really I just love to sit down and get to know our nonprofits and just see if there's a way I can be a door opener for them and introduce them to someone who might be able to help them.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for being here, April. Jack, could I ask you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your company's work?
Sure. Good morning, everybody. Congratulations, Costco and Garden of Health. Both your organizations help round out our community to make it the great community that it is. And it does take all of us in the community to make it great. And at my firm, PBGW, we're an accounting firm. So we provide financial services and tax services to our clients. And we also have a not-for-profit section that we help our not-for-profits, both as clients and help with any problems they may have, or put people in our organization on their boards. We encourage all our employees to get involved with somebody that an organization that you're passionate about, because passionate people produce. So we encourage them to, on company time, to go and offer your services. And in addition, we offer services at a reduced fee. If it's a service that our employee is involved with, a lot of times we don't charge a fee, but we surely realize that giving back to the community is all part of it. And we're thankful for what we have. So we want to share the wealth and help whoever we can, whenever we can.
Thanks, Jack.
Sure.
Lisa, you're a movie star now, so we all heard from you a little bit in the opening video, but if you wouldn't mind, please do introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about Costco, and then we'll move forward with some other questions. Not yet, not yet. Try it again. Okay, let's give Lisa a minute to fix her microphone. We did all get to hear from her, and there are a bunch of congratulations in the chat for you as well, Lisa. So, oh, there you are.
There you go. All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks. Lisa Martin from Costco. Thanks for the movie star status. So we really do work hard at not only as a corporation, but each warehouse is different. I happen to be fortunate at this one where, Jim and I really are on the same page as just giving back to the community to benefit many of the nonprofits from, the YMCA all the way, down. Monday, we're going to be giving away, it's like 120 turkeys, giving it to Officer Johnson from the Montgomery Township Police Department for those in need this year for Christmas. April already slated for now 500 backpacks this year.
Wow.
So we'll be giving them out again, which I'm really, really excited about, that they're not getting rid of that program. And we did give $43,000 to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, my warehouse alone. So we're really embracing this community all the way up from Harleysville and down. And anyone that needs help, knows to contact me or send me a letter, send me an email. And if there's any way, we can help out, we'll do that. So, and thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thanks to all of you for introducing yourselves. And again, I'll just reiterate, if any of you in the audience have questions or want to, raise any issues for our panelists to tackle, please put them in our chat. If you don't mind, if it's a question, put a Q before it, because that way I'll be able to kind of scan it and see that it's a question and not just a comment for the group. And then I'll be able to represent your question to our panelists. So I find that as we work with community organizations at our foundation, that especially for a smaller nonprofit, it can be intimidating to approach a company about sponsorship. Could I ask our panelists to talk a little bit about what it takes, to make a compelling request for support what makes a request compelling to you? How do you like to be approached for a sponsorship opportunity? I'm sure it varies based on the, your own style and the nature of your company and its relationship in the community. So I'll also ask about what factors into your decision making, but I'd love to first hear just about being approached for a sponsorship and what makes that request compelling. I'll ask any of you to sort of jump in any order.
Sure, I can jump. Go ahead, Jack.
Go ahead, April, you can go.
Well, have April with the beautiful background, and then we'll go to Jack.
Thank you. That's mean. So I just wanted to say that don't feel like it's intimidating. Come and talk to us and tell us about why you're passionate about your organization and why we should help you. We want to learn about your business, and maybe do your homework ahead of time. Know about our company and some of the organizations that we support, what we're passionate about. Know if there's any employees that maybe are volunteering already. You can have an advocate in your corner to talk to us about that. And we also need to know if it's in our local market area. Community banks have something called Community Reinvestment Act, and we really do want to support those in our community. So if you ask us for a donation and it's for something that's way out of our market area, we wouldn't be able to help. So it's good to know more about the organization you're approaching. And then come with a specific ask. We see often that people will send us a letter or ask us for something, but they don't specifically say the amount they're looking for, what is it supporting, and really just tell us about what you need and how we can help, and be specific.
Thank you for that, April. Jack, I'd love to hear how you at your accounting firm handle requests.
Okay, usually the request, it would be something that kind of tugs at our heartstrings, something that either we or someone in our organization is passionate about. And what we like is a personal ask. Don't be afraid to ask, as April had mentioned, but usually the letters get kind of put to the side. But if there's a personal ask, that adds a lot of weight. If there is someone in our staff that's passionate about that organization, or that or even if someone is involved from our organization, that adds a lot of weight to it, because we encourage our employees to get involved. And once they are involved, we want to support them. So we want to support our employees and at the same time support your organization. So usually what we support is those things that kind of tug at our heartstrings, and those things that our employees feel are very, very important, or they are involved. So that's kind of, how we approach it. And we do a lot of different things because we want to support both our employee and the community.
And Jack, just to follow up on that, do you also find that it helps for an ask to be specific, the way April was saying, to kind of have a dollar amount and an exact usage of the funding?
Yeah, yes, we do. And the area that it's going to benefit, because we like to know who it's going to benefit, because there's things that we support that maybe aren't in our market area, and we do have a very large area, but we will support it because an employee is involved with that organization. But there's others that really aren't in our target market. So, we would tend to, go in a different direction if that's the case.
Okay, thanks for that. Lisa, if I could pose the same question to you, what makes a compelling request for support when you're fielding those?
We have one specific way, which is if you go on to the Costco website and then go into charitable contributions and fill out the paperwork. That gets sent directly to us, and my supervisor, Philip, usually runs it by me. We try to stay, I get requests from New Jersey, Philadelphia, but they're not in my wheelhouse. So we try to keep it super local. But I don't have a problem with anybody approaching me. Gina and Pete and I were talking yesterday for Bev, and they had a specific ask. So I just said, send me the paperwork, to my email, and I'll make sure it's taken care of. I like the idea of the specific ask because, as long as it's in my budget for me to do, I will do it. If it's over that, then I usually, you know, I have to go to Jim or I have to go to corporate to get it approved. They've been really, really good about it because of the response and the embracing that the community has given to Costco. So, but don't be afraid to pick up the phone. Don't be afraid if you see me in the warehouse or see me at something to ask me. If I can do it, I'm definitely going to do it. That's just how we are.
Thank you. And Lisa, are they chimes in your background that are going off? Because it's really very zen. You have a
They weren't real zen last night, I can tell you. It's like, what?
Well, I appreciate the very comforting sound effects as you talk about community partnership. You know, I heard some of you talk about passion. I mean, the word passion has come up several times. And how do you think that has how does this new distanced environment kind of affect your ability to feel connected to community causes, or has it affected it in a good way, in a bad way? I just wonder if, you know, all of us are dealing with this new reality where you can't just run into somebody at an event or at a meeting the same way you would have in the past. Just curious to hear about how that passion comes through in this new distance environment we're all dealing with. Just throwing it out there.
I think it's been a lot more. Go ahead, Jack.
Sorry. One of the boards I'm involved with, I was very skeptical and worried when this pandemic first hit, because fundraising, a lot of times we're saying that we want a personal ask and we want FaceTime with people to tell them, hey, this is what's going on. This is what our ask is. And I'm utterly surprised, especially the one organization I'm thinking about in the North Penn School District that I'm involved with, where we had a fundraising campaign to raise money to provide internet access for those families in the North Penn School District that couldn't afford the internet or didn't have internet. And with this pandemic, with the online learning, it was crucial that these families had internet so that the kids could continue to learn. And I think our school district's doing a great job with this online learning. But that was something that we had to rethink it. We had to re-engineer. Okay, how are we going to raise these funds? But our people went out, our volunteers went out to raise the money. They were passionate about it. It was I'll say something that, as I say, tugs at the heartstrings. Our donors realized and wanted our kids to be able to continue to learn. So we got an overwhelming, a great response. So it's quite warming to see that what I thought was going to be really, really tough was people adapted, and it's a new way, it's a new world, and we're continuing to raise funds remotely.
Yeah. And it's interesting how a cause and how, you know, it can really triumph over all those challenges to getting the word out, right? And the compelling cause. April, please go on.
You know, I was saying about the Build a Backpack program, and, you know, Costco's been so generous to support that. And last year we could go around to businesses and ask to put boxes in and collect their supplies and assemble them. And this year it was totally different, but our community still stepped up in a big way, you know, in order to do that. I think in some respects, I have not heard from as many nonprofits as I normally would, just because we're not out, you know, doing networking and mixing and things like that. But those who have had relationships with us have continued to stay in touch, and the ones that have really benefited from that. You know, we didn't quite know how to do it safely, but we said, okay, we're going to mask up and go out and support Garden of Health and be at their food drives and have a good time with it. And, you know, it was really beneficial. So it's just a matter of figuring out how we could do it. And as far as board service, I think it's been fabulous because we've been able to not maybe have so much travel time, and we've been able to have the Zoom meetings and really just capitalize on some of the technologies that we didn't really know about before.
Yeah, we were saying, you know, just before our guest joined us all, that, you know, this event would have probably been canceled if it were a normal year, you know, because of the snowstorm, and people might not have gotten to the hotel or wherever we would have held it. And, you know, so there's a silver lining, you know, that we can get to things. because we're doing them remotely. Lisa, do you have anything to add about how, you know, the pandemic has affected some of the relationships and connections in the community?
Well, you know, I'm not out there at festivals and, you know, doing all that type of stuff. But I've actually made closer connections than I have before with the Integrate for Good, the Interfaith Ministries, the police department. They've been wonderful to help me connect. April has also been great with helping me connect to the nonprofits and have them come to me. And I am making more Zoom meetings. I've actually, in some ways, feel like I've made more stuff than I would have in the past, because if I was out of the building and a Zoom, you know, I just can't be at two places at one time. So it's different, had to pivot, but we gave away more money this year than the warehouse has ever given away in 21 years. So I'm really happy about it, and I'm grateful for those people that come to me.
Terrific. Thank you all. And tell me a little bit about, you know, it can be sort of a mysterious process to a lot of those applicants who are asking for funds. How you decide how much you can give, you know, if they come to you with a specific ask, which all of you have said is very helpful to say, you know, we need X amount of dollars to do this project or this event. But what does factor into your decision making this year? Was a lot of it driven by, you know, immediate needs that you saw based on the pandemic? And is that, you know, do you think that'll continue? Or is it corporate priorities that drive a lot of, you know, how you budget a gift or a donation? Or is it really just, is it a new budget that you come up with every year? I'd just be curious, and it doesn't, you know, I know this might vary based on organization and also on the timing and whether or not there's a crisis in the community. So if any of you want to tackle that, I'd love to hear from Lisa.
Yeah, so in the past it was, we got, I think $250, we're up to $300, and we would divvy them out in increments of $25 to nonprofits for, you know, whatever they were doing, if they were having a kickball thing or whatever the school needed. Because we're not getting the ask like that, because they're not having events, so they're not asking for money. Yeah. Now I've gotten the permission where I could do $100 at a time, which, you know, is a lot more beneficial to somebody. The one person that I gave $100 to came in just to buy food items for people that they house and take care of. Leah Barry came to me about that. So it's difficult to say just how far, you know, you can stretch that, you know, that $300. But when you add my marketing budget to it, which is $500, which I have to spend every month or I lose it, then that gives me a further reach to be able to help people out. So, you know, again, it's this year. I don't know what's going to happen. Of course, none of us know for next year, but that's why that specific ask, if you're asking me for $100, I could never do that in the past. And this year I've been able to do that. And my employees have turned around and stepped up where they've bought food to make sure it goes to the food pantries and have done volunteer work. So I'm really proud of them that way too, on top of it. But, you know, we'll see what happens in 2021. But again, make the ask, you know, just ask us. But just make sure you're in our wheelhouse when you're asking, you know.
Right.
And the Chamber's been really good with setting me up with nonprofits also. And also our local on tap has helped with that. You know, I've gotten to meet a lot of different nonprofits with our local on tap through the Chamber. It's been good.
It's great to hear, you know, and it's also a good reminder that, you know, it's an important linkage there, the Chamber for, you know, connecting commerce and community. April or Jack, before we move on to our next question, do you have anything to add to that?
I will say, we, in the accounting business, we're in the people business. So we realize that people will come to us because they like us. They know we're qualified to do the accounting work or the tax work, but they like us. So part of liking us is we need to be a good corporate citizen, and all businesses need, in our opinion, need to be a good corporate citizen and give back to the community. And that's a priority for PBGW, that we are a good corporate citizen. That's why we encourage our employees to get involved. And then as far as how we divvy up, our funds that are going to the not-for-profits, I did say we rely heavily on our employees to come to us, and if they're passionate about a particular organization, that adds a lot of weight to our dollars or our volunteer hours that'll go towards that organization, because we do a lot of in-kind services for our employees and their organizations that they deal with, in addition to funds, but a lot of volunteer hours go through our building each year, and we're happy that our employees do get involved in volunteering. And
Terrific.
pretty much,
Yeah.
if the employee has something that they like us to support, we discuss it every month. We have a Jeans Friday, where we wear jeans on Friday, and you put some money in the kitty, and every month or two we'll designate that the particular funds go to a particular cause. And once again, it's usually a local cause. So the dollars amount could be small in that arena, or we could have a bigger dollar commitment, like when we supported a couple of the canine dogs for local police departments. So, we've done a lot of different things, and we put on a Halloween bash every year. Unfortunately, this October, because of COVID, we didn't do it, but it's a way for those with challenges, if they like to trick or treat, they can come do that in a safe, secure environment. That is a monumental task to pull that off for a few hundred people to come through and trick or treat. And I thank April and all the other businesses that have been involved in that to help us make that a success. But while that is a 6-8 month commitment of employees and time to pull that off. So it's not just dollars that the way we give back with our employees' time. So
That's great to hear. And I think every day has become Jeans Friday lately, right? Or Sweatpant Friday, or whatever it might be.
yeah,
Sweatpant Wednesday. I want to ask April about, we've talked a lot about how for-profit companies can help community organizations, but I'd be curious, how that can work in the reverse, and how beneficial it is to that relationship can be to your company. So what are some of the benefits that QNB or its employees have seen as a result of partnerships with community organizations, whether it be in volunteer or board leadership opportunities, or presentations, or awareness of certain causes, team building, anything like that? I'd love to hear how it's benefited you and your colleagues at QNB.
So we really believe in corporate and social responsibility, and how that helps our bottom line, quite honestly. Helping a community organization shed a positive light on your company. So that's very important to kind of keep in mind. And also, employees volunteering builds great leadership skills, whether it be, employee on a board or on a committee. They really get to learn those leadership skills. And I think one of the other things is it's just fun, and it builds morale. So when the employees wear jeans and donate to a particular cause, or we serve food, or we just kind of get together and volunteer at the Halloween bash, it's just a lot of fun. And really, it just builds that camaraderie at work, which is so important in today's workplace.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from Lisa about ways that you feel Costco team members have benefited from their relationships with community organizations.
Okay, so our Costco employees are big on Manna on Main Street, so apparently they do a lot with that. That's kind of Jim's real baby. I kind of just pushed it along and kept it moving. And I think they really do enjoy giving back to the community that way. And I have noticed with the employees, like when we did Children's Miracle Network, how they really stepped up for Children's Miracle Network in the community. I put a shout out in reference to people needing help in the community. And, you know, I'll always have an employee come up and say to me, you know, what can I do? Or can I donate? Or, you know, should I volunteer? Do I need to buy food? And I think that makes us more cohesive in our warehouse. We all get along better because well, everybody teases, you know, I'm Mrs. Costco, but most of the employees will come to me and, you know, ask me these questions. And they'll also come to me with what they feel is important for the community, which I get a lot of insight from them with doing that. The only thing that I ask that is, you know, it be a nonprofit.
Right.
Everything has to be based around that, except when I feed, you know, the police department isn't a nonprofit, but, you know, we got to take care of those guys too on top of it. So,
Community organization, yeah.
yes, exactly. So, yeah, and we have fun with it. And like with the backpacks, I had them come and say, okay, I need some for my school. And they spent their own money to stuff it with more stuff than it already comes with. So JP, he did that with when I did it to the Montgomery school. And the guys were like, do you have enough? You know, do we need to give more? So, you know, and it's been a tough year for everybody, but we're blessed in because we're retail that, you know, we're doing good business.
Yeah.
And the employees are making extra money, so they're willing to give it away, which I think is fabulous for them, you know, and I think it makes them feel good.
I think
It's a
lot
feel-good feeling.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly it is. And, you know, one of our, and speaking about, you know, your connections with the employees, one of our audience members, Suzanne, asked, what are you all doing to recruit volunteer? What do you do to recruit people in your organizations to volunteer for community organizations? Do you put out a you know, an APB, everybody, there's some volunteers needed? Do you do it on a case-by-case basis? I'd just be curious how you handle that. Jack?
I'll use the backpack drive that happens every year. And I sit on the board of the North Penn Education Foundation. And I thank Costco and April for everybody that, you know, all the effort that goes into that. But we put that out through email to our employees that, hey, we're going to have the backpack drive again. You know, if you wanted to, here's what we need. Here's the list of things we need. We'll have the box in the lobby. Please put anything you want to donate in that box by this date. Oh, and by the way, we need some people to help sort the backpacks and stuff the backpacks. And we get an overwhelming response for that. So we just put it out there. You know, it's not everybody wants to do it, but those that do will do it. But it's an overwhelming response. Other things which more specific, we don't throw it out maybe to the whole group because we only need one or two people, and we may ask one or two people to, hey, maybe you want to help this organization. It is in your area where you live. Do you want to stop by there and help them with this or drop this off? So, you know, we'll do it. Like I said, a shout out to the whole group or just on an individual basis.
Targeted.
And I will say, we talked about how you feel after this, and I know we're doing something for a not-for-profit organization, but I'm sure April will back me up on this, and Lisa, you will too with Mana, because we go out to Mana to help serve the meals or that Halloween bash that we do. When that night is over and you're leaving and you see all the smiles on these people's faces, and you know the caregivers of those with the challenges, that they're leaving with a smile because you just gave them an hour or two of maybe a break from the challenge that they have day in, day out, 24/7. And it's just so rewarding for our volunteers. And we get that from all of our volunteers and the businesses that help us out with that fundraiser. It's just amazing how everybody feels that we, the fortunate, got more out of it than those that we were trying to serve. So it's,
yeah. Thanks for highlighting that, especially at this time, this holiday time of giving. It's important to remember that your time and your effort is really valuable besides just your money sometimes. April, do you want to add anything?
Sure. Besides what Jack said, you know, I think it's just the personal ask. So if we're mentoring someone and we hear about something, we might invite them to go along and we would serve together. So sometimes we seek out employees who have shown a spark and really just need, you know, kind of some mentorship and just say, hey, come on, we're going to go do this. It's going to be fun. And they love to. And one of the young employees that we brought to the Halloween bash just raved about it, like Jack was saying. And, you know, I think the highlight of her day was when someone came up and gave her a hug at that event, and just meant so much to them. So, you know, it's rewarding for them. And so I think that personal touch is really important.
Wonderful. You know, someone in our audience asked about contacting you. I know, April, you put your email and your phone number in the chat. And if Jack and Lisa, if you want to put either the web address where people are supposed to contact you, or your preferred way of folks getting in touch with you, I'd really appreciate that if you put it in the chat, and our group would as well. So, you know, I think at this point, it's kind of interesting to me to look at the in-kind benefits that you also can provide. Besides money, you can do time, and it sounds to me like board members are also something that our community organizations are always looking for. Do you like to encourage, I know Jack, you talked a little bit about that. Do you like to encourage employees to, and Lisa and April briefly, do you like to encourage employees to take board leadership or committee leadership roles with nonprofits? Is that something that a nonprofit could offer as a way of helping you build your own team and their skills and their community connections?
Sure, we definitely do that. We encourage our employees to get involved, something that they would want to get involved with. Like I said, the word passion comes up again because they're passionate. And a lot of times people look at us, since we are accountants, that they need some financial help.
Right.
So and that's one way. But a lot of times our employees want to give back in another way, because all day long we're doing accounting and taxes. So maybe they want to give, and maybe they'd want to give, you know, donate their time at the food bank because it's something other than what they do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So, but either way, we all have time and talent, and we encourage our employees to go and spread that as to be a good corporate citizen.
And another thing that board members or volunteers can do is help raise money for the organization that they're serving. So even if it's, you know, to mention to your Facebook group or to your friends or neighbors, you know, that this is an important cause that you've devoted some of your own time to, and you would encourage them to look into it or give or volunteer. It's also a great way to be an ambassador for a community partner organization. I'm mindful of our time, and I know we want to let everybody go on time and have a chance to wrap up. So I just ask any of you, if you have anything that you want to add before we go, that you don't feel you were able to communicate today, or if you have any final thoughts before we turn it back over to Pam.
I just wanted to commend the Chamber for having the Leaders on Board program to groom board members, because as putting on my nonprofit hat for a second, I think that's just so critical and so important. And I'm on the board of MANA, and we're just so excited to kind of hopefully see some emerging leaders and be able to, you know, consider them for board service in the future. So thanks to the Chamber.
Great shout out to the Leaders on Board. Anyone else before we go? Lisa.
Yeah, I have to give a real shout out to the Chamber. I mean, I, as you all know, just came here 3 years ago, but I've gotten so many contacts, and I've been able to do so much because of what the Chamber does, and how they can put you in touch with people. And it really does benefit at least my community, you know, around where I'm at. I know they do other areas, but it's been an amazing journey. I mean, to be honest with you, and learning so much about some of the nonprofits. And I have to say to April, you know, she's just great, you know, with the networking with me, and what we've been doing in almost 3 years, right, April? Yep. And we continue to do it. So I just need everybody to stay safe and be strong. And I also want to thank the Chamber again and everyone for this award for Costco. It really does mean a lot. Thank you.
Jack?
Yeah, thanks to Pam. You know, Pam's keeping this ship steered in the right direction in this COVID time. So the chamber's doing very well because the chamber had to adapt just like all these other organizations have to adapt. So, you know, good job, Pam, and your board, and congratulations to Costco and Garden of Health. Costco and Garden of Health provide something in our community that makes, like I said, that makes it a great community. So, you know, thank you and congratulations on your award today.
Well, all of you do, and I echo those congratulations, and I want to thank April and Lisa and Jack for what you've done for us today. I know our comments in the chat say that it was valuable insights, and also we really appreciate what you and your companies are doing to help improve the quality of life in our communities. And I want to thank the Chamber once again for inviting me to be part of this panel, and wishing everybody a healthy and happy holiday season. And I'll turn it over to Pam to take us out.
Great, thank you, Diana. And again, I would just like to thank the four of you, Diana, Lisa, Jack, and April, for all the insight that you shared. I hope our attendees found it to be very valuable. I certainly did. I hope our nonprofits feel more comfortable now in ways that they can reach out to businesses that they think that may be good partners for them. And I hope that our business attendees also can feel that if they don't have a strong corporate giving program or are looking for ways for which they can improve upon that each of you gave them some ideas to move forward in 2021. So I greatly appreciate that. And April, thank you. I wanted to echo her comments about the leaders on board, and Sherry put a note in the chat. We are planning to launch a second session at the end of February, and so we'll have more information, but I think we had about 40 folks that participated in the first one, and so there are people out there now that have been trained, a 6-week program, and are anxious to serve on boards. And so if you're interested, we can certainly help make those connections as well. So with that, I'd like to wish everyone a wonderful holiday season. We have our Local and on Tap this evening as a virtual program, but otherwise that concludes our events for the year. So we wish you a wonderful holiday season. Again, congratulations to Garden of Health and Costco. And I'm looking so forward to seeing you all live sometime in the new year. So have a great one, and thanks for your participation today.
Thank you.
Take good
Bye.
care. Happy holiday.
Bye-bye.